I'm hoping I might be able to merge these videos together. It depends on whether or not this Wondershare thing lets me do that for free or not. But in case it cannot, this is a reading for the collective for March here in 2024. I'll link in the description, if this is 2 videos, that the first video, because I got called away to help my neighbor with the groceries, and I don't have a pause on this silly photo thing on my laptop that I used to record this one, because of course I wasn't using Zoom, and so there is categorically, not categorically, what am I saying, coincidentally, or not so coincidentally, you know, perfectly, disruptions that are happening. And this is a perfect example of kind of what I was talking about in the first video, with things, little hiccups and these hurdles in my day-to-day things that are causing disruptions that sort of almost make me question what I'm doing, right? And for that, I mean, I'm referencing the 3 cards that I already drew, and just in case you haven't seen the other video, I have these 3 cards here that I was doing a personal reading for myself, and I'm sort of hearkening to that. They were Strength, the Devil, and the Ace of Swords, and they came out all together, right in a row. And I was talking before about these little sort of devilish encounters that I have been feeling, these little blips of negativity, bumping into my reality, into my life all the time, and causing these little hiccups. And this what had just happened with the reading and everything was something that, you know, sort of seemed like a great example of that. Having these sort of doubts, oh, should I do a collective reading? Should I not? Did the reading for myself, I felt like, yeah, I'm going to do the collective reading. And then as I get through it, I have this disruptions, and I'm like, oh, should I really be doing this? Or is this a disruption that I should just cut that video and leave this as a personal reading for myself, take the messages in for my own self and space, and just call it a day? But I sat back down, and then I sat there with my cards, you know, having this conversation with myself, my cards, and my higher self, all that. And I asked them for a knock and asked them for an answer. And, you know, I received the Ace of Cups and upright, and just, you know, think, okay, yeah, I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to get the video. I'm going to do the reading for the collective for March. And so if you're interested in hearing the preamble, if you want to hear about the 3 cards, where we're sort of at in the month and things, and you haven't seen that first video, or I wasn't able to join the 2 together, I think I can't, because I'm pretty sure they put a time limit on the how long the videos can be that you add. But whatever. I don't want to go too long either, in case I can link them together. People don't want to, in the middle of it, all of a sudden listen to me again when I was ready to pull the cards. Like literally have my cards spread out, ready to pull them before. So if it is jammed together and this is an intermission, thank you so much for your patience and for your audience. I really appreciate it. But yeah, classic example of these sort of boundary pushing infringement moments that make you question your heart, your truths, what you're doing. And almost it can be in an insignificant way, or almost it could be in a way that seems really obviously like no. But when you stop and question, you listen to your heart, and that's why I also love divination and cards, because sometimes they can give you additional support, can make you think again, and hear your truth a little more clearer when you were prompted by a card with a picture and a message behind it. So yeah, I'm going to get going now on the actual reading here. So just quickly again to thank my cards and thank my audience here energetically, all of us together in the heart center. Just a moment of gratitude. Maybe you'd like to have one as well, and just put your hand on your heart, or maybe hands in prayer, whatever feels good to you. Or you don't have to do that if it's not cool to you either. Just thank you. I thank you. You could thank me if you want, or, you know, thank your favorite person in the world that you could think of right now for being them. You know, just take a moment to feel that gratitude. Let it fill you up. thanking yourself, the saints and angels, all those in spirit world, God, Source, Mother Earth, the fairies and elementals, all of those beings of higher density and frequency who witness our journey here with unconditional love in their hearts. We thank you for your eternal audience. We feel your presence. We acknowledge it. We ask you one final time today to grace us with 4 cards that could guide us in this transitory time here, March 7th. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I could go on, but I don't want it to last too long. Sometimes thanks just can pour out when you start to allow them to, right? Now, I was going to give a preamble about placement and all of that, and I hadn't really got to that yet, but with this, I think I'll just go through it as I read them. I'm going to pull 4 cards. I am going to pull them, choose them the way I used to, always kind of hearkening back to my old beginner's ways here. Spreading them out like this, and then I'll choose them. 1, 2, 3, and that's 4. Oh, no, 4. Felt it. Possible. I feel like a secondary message is in the cards were hard to close. But we'll see what we have here for our 4. I'm going to lay the spread here first. I know that the angle and everything is not great, but I'll show them as we go through them anyways. Sometimes I like to face them, play face down first. And so if you can see, I have the first card in the center. The second card is underneath, and I like to lay it horizontal for this reading. And then we have the third on the left-hand side and the 4th on the right-hand side. And we have the first card is going to be the present question, the moment, the present energies, the direction and focus of this reading that they like to focus on and share with us. The second card is about hurdles, obstacles, things that are going to come up or have come up that were difficult to get through, or they would like to give you a pat on the back about making through, or perhaps saying to you, you could have done X, Y, and Z a little more gracefully, or, or with a little more attention and intention, better intentions. The third card is sort of reflective of the past, so like January, February that we've been through already, what we are bringing with us through there. And that can be either what we need to hearken back to, like lessons we should bring wisdom through with us. It can be reminders and warnings, red flags of watch out from this episode that happened previously. Something similar could be happening, so remember that and keep it in the back of your mind. It can be that kind of thing. And the 4th card on the right is the future to come, the end of March, what we can look to. It can be things that are going to happen. It could also be hearkening points, like anchoring to the future of, following the directionality of this. It could be a guiding light, something that we need support in, or we will find support in the coming weeks. So those are the cards. And now let's see. I'm going to flip them all and we'll go through them. Okay, so for anybody who does watch Saints and Angels and has been with us and has seen the echoing messages that have been coming through about marriage, this reading is just amazing. It's really distinctive towards that essence here. So our center theme and our center message for card number 1 is the Queen of Swords. Number 2, we have the 5 of Pentacles. And so underneath the Two of Pentacles, right? So we have to remember that the theme from Saints and Angels for this month was the Two of Pentacles, right? The decision points between balancing money, having these this or that. Maybe I could do this or that with my money, and both of them seem really good, or both of them don't seem very good. You know, trying to weigh the odds between kind of polar opposites, and having that money-minded kind of focus of this or that, feeling that. And then the Saints and Angels messages that we had come through, the marriage card with Saint Catherine, which we've had, you know, it's been echoing for a couple of weeks over the months, coming back and coming back. And we had I pulled a secondary card for that very reason, and we got God's love. And it was like God's love is within the marriage, or God's love will bring you to marriage that you need, or to bring God's love into your marriage was really kind of the focus. Perhaps to allow God to lead the marriage in those sort of Two of Pentacles conversations and issues. If you're finding yourself, your partner and yourself playing the polar opposites in the Two of Pentacles, fighting over money, which, hey, look at what our obstacles are, and what will be going through and tested on is the Five of Pentacles. And see, it's a woman and a man. I love the Five of Pentacles card because it gets a bad rap. It's really one of those cards that people immediately think is tragic. It's like a Tower card. You know, they see it as really bad. Sort of like the Three of Swords. But the Five of Pentacles, it does hearken to having these times and tribulations around money, and a chaotic imbalance around material items, material stability, and not just money, but wealth, abundance, having a home, all these things that come with materialistic stability and security that money represents, right? So home, land, assets, all of those kinds of things come along with the Pentacles card. It's not just about fiat currency, but the energy of it that really represents, and having that represents. And with the Five, it's the chaotic time with that. It's mismanagement, learning through that. It's learning through hiccups and hard times. And the Five, I always love this card, how it always shows a couple usually, and they're sort of cast down, downtrodden, and like nobody will help them. They sort of look like wanderers. But the underlying silver lining of this message is the partnership. It's like when you're down on your hard times, you find out who's actually real. You find out what you're really worth. You find out how strong your love and bond and partnership really is, what your skills really are, what you are without money together, when you stick together through those times. And the Five is meant to birth through Six, right? It's meant to lead to perseverance and strength. It's not meant to be a tower end all, bring it to the foundation, start new, you know, unless you've been forcing and through building. But for most of us, and for these sort of marriage-esque twin relationships, twin flame soul mate relationships, like there's a catalytic aspect of it, and especially where we're thinking of this reading and underneath the Two of Pentacles theme and everything, right? There's great lessons to be learned through that push and pull, through the sword sharpening on stone, right? And so that to know that these obstacles happen to strengthen us is an important thing to keep in mind. Now for the third card, for the past, we have the Page of Rods, and it is reversed. The Page of Rods in itself is about passions, right? The rods always sort of hearken towards our passion, the magic within us, what fires you up, what motivates you. You know, it can be, it's a spiritual card. It ignites the spirit, but it also manifests in ways that you make things magic in the world. You cast out your way, or it helps you, you know, sometimes it's called the staff as well, because, you know, we lean on it, we walk with it, but it does harken back to the wand, of course, with the magic sense to it, that even when you look at a wizard's staff, it was the wand, right? It had a magical quality to it. It is the way that we make change in the world. It's the way we impact the world through our own spirit and energies. The Page is really, you know, the youngest of the face cards. And I'm just going to grab my thing here, some of my old school notes, since I've been hearkening to old ways, and we can just go over a few of the things I've written down in the past, right? A bearer of messages, faithful lover, an envoy. Those are more of the traditional tarot sort of meanings, just for anybody who's looking for those key terms, you know. Those personalities or those reference points can sometimes be helpful. But for me, you know, and what I've written in my own kind of writing is things like pilgrimages, journey to gain spirituality, personal insights, alchemy, transmutation. Oh, yes. Ceremony, traditions, connections to ancestors, spirit, creator needed. That's the one thing I was thinking. I knew I opened this for a reason. That deep spiritual connection to ancestry and to being the bearer of the message, especially where we have it in the past placement and where we have the reversal of it, right? We need to be remembering and bringing into this coming present energies like a messenger, really remembering and hearkening and owning that birthright and placement that we are, karmatic chain breakers, people who are here to build new earth, you know, crystalline beings, whatever you like to see, indigo, star children, seeds. They call it, there's just a million different ways that people describe and call themselves about this sort of different essence of being that. But it is, I believe, a quality of seniority. Sorry, I knew this was going to happen. My TV's about to shut off. This quality of seniority, this handing down of wisdom through the DNA, through ancestry and heritage, I think, that brings in a deeper quality available for more definition in these later generations and in ourselves, of course. And so perhaps also, if you haven't been doing any of this kind of spiritual alchemy work in this first corner of the year, this could also really be, since it is reversed, it could be kind of like a highlight to you to get into that, to really bring that into a focus. A little nudge from a friend saying you could do more of that this coming quarter, this coming month of March and into the new quarter of the year, right? And I realized I kind of jumped right into the obstacles. I didn't really talk about the present energies, but that works because we can talk about it now before we talk about future. The present energies of the Queen of Swords. I really love to see the Queen of Swords as a message about a unconditional, caring, empathetic, and patient-minded person. Someone who has beliefs, mindset, consciousness about them, an air or atmosphere of allowance and openness of all things, philosophically, and also, you know, more things that are more tangible, like having a very open but balanced mindset in the way that you make yourself known in the world. And also, the Queen of Swords is, I feel, always a strong reminder about how we're speaking, how we present ourselves, how we share our thoughts and feelings and our ideas, ideals, and ideologies with others. The three different sort of ways that you can embody different ideas and beliefs, right? Different thoughts and concepts. How we share them and how we put them on others is super important with the Queen of Swords. Also, the Queen of Swords in a present state and saying that this is who we are. It doesn't, you know, men might see that and, oh, it's not just about being a female. It's not like queen energy, you know, it's not like that, hey, girl, hey kind of thing. That's really an over-amplified extreme version that's more inverted on purpose than anything. But the true queen essence and the true divine feminine energies are really about receiving, openness, allowance, and also about um, empathy and caring. Unification of all, right? Think about how a mother looks at her children. You know, she loves all of her children um, uniquely and individually, but loves all of her children the same, right? The queen, um, in our present energy, right, and what the cards would like us to embody is that. Try to speak and see all others like that. Try to hold yourself in this really regal, respectful, and honorable position, especially, excuse me, when we're speaking with others, and when you're in that sort of pillared dominion, when you're in your own dominion, and you're whether it's with your children at your home, whether it's in your job and you have a managerial position, whether it's whatever kind of way that you are the boss, that you are overshadowing over others and looking out for others, to really work and to bring in that sacred divine feminine energy. And so for the future card, and like I had said before, it's perfectly aligned because we have the King of Swords right next to the Queen of Swords, and in the future. So our present energies is this beautiful divine feminine energies, and then we can look to the future, and we're going to be balancing and bringing in the divine masculine energies of action, of standing security, of doing, of oversight, of justice and management that the King of Swords represents. Let me just look here, because I'll go to my old school notes again. We'll see. Some of my writing is like so scribbly. I'm like, whoa, what was I saying? Be patient in your words. That's what it's thoughts with yourself in your own mind and understanding. Just let it be. Neutrality. That's what I have for the Queen of Swords. And for the King of Swords, wisdom, expertise, master of linguistics. Well-spoken, true knowledge through experience, time-tested, true, loyal, transparent in word and action. Transparent in word and action. I love that, and that reminds me, be true in deed and action. To know that in the future we're going to be called to action, right? We're going to be a point of leadership. We're going to have that king energy aspect and essence and energies where we need the perspective of higher sight, of the big picture, in order to really rule over our dominion in a responsible, balanced way. And the King of Swords is perfect for this, because that the king represents the pinnacle of development, of going through all of the sequential steps and building through all of the layers and that tarot represents, right? Coming through the numerology, building through all of the number cards, and then being able to graduate into face value cards and to the higher sight and lessons to be learned in the whole of the sword theme. And the king, of course, is the graduation of all of that into the grand thinker, into the chess master, into that, architect of it all, of thinking, of mastery. And of course, let's remember, like I started off saying, the sword is double-edged, right? There's two ways you can use that sword. And so also be mindful and know that perhaps, and we will, and we always are, confronted and tested with other kings who perhaps are fighting the opposite side of the battle, right? So to be mindful of where your thoughts come from, and to hearken into the truth of your sovereign right to life, and to be always concrete and grounded in that foundation of sovereign right to life, of goodness, and of seeking positive, harmonious solutions through for all of the people that you are sort of the king of, right? That's what should really be the main focus, north pointing your compass, the thinking, focused king of the swords. But know that there can be and is other focuses and other callings if you choose a different calling, and to be mindful of that, especially in the future. So yeah, I feel like this is a wonderful reading for the month of March, and for also, sort of like I've said already, transition into the second quarter of the year here in 2024. I am thinking I might just leave it there and let it sit. Although now I can't, because I remember it's like the cards were kind of sticky before. Let's see what they say really quickly here. I feel a lingering aspect of just maybe a point of reverence, yes, or a point of guidance, maybe. I can't even. The Lovers. And so, yes, reiterating, bringing in love. Love conquers all, love will find a way. I think whether you are currently already matched up with someone or you're feeling a calling towards that, I think it's big time for us to be igniting these relationships, talking about them, talking within them, getting good work with your partner, owning your own truth and honesty with your partner. When we're partnered up with people, it's such a perfect setup and gift, in the setting and scenarios and roles to do so much alchemy, so much catalytic soul work together. No matter what it is, we each have our own little nuances of what we're together for, the rough edges that we're meant to smooth over for each other, those more beautiful points that we're meant to highlight and bring out. That's the work that the Lovers really represent. I know there's sort of this whole inverted version that's really lust-based. It's really superficial. It's based on appearances and very shallow. And as I've been called to talk about, and there's so many swords here, we've had such a prevalent message about beliefs, swords, and with the ideologies, with the devil card, and also we see from the past, we have the reversal of the page of rods. So perhaps, if we're struggling through these things, or we're finding a little bit of difficult scenarios that pop up with us, seeing things that are uncomfortable, go into those things. Ask your partner for help with them. Ask them for their opinion of these bits of you, or these bits of your relationship or your life that you built together, or perhaps it's your past. Whatever it is, like, ask them for some perspective on it. And I think that will really help. As long as you can come at it together from a place of building each other up, not cutting each other down, not looking to one-up the other one. That's a big inverted issue that we have. So I would say always follow your truth and try to see your partner for their truths and encourage their truths within them. Encourage them to love themselves and to be positive. And that will always act like a solve to help heal, soothe out any sort of rough things that maybe you're doing or encountering together. Because building strength through hurdles, catalysts, and obstacles is really what life is about. I feel very strongly about that. I myself have done a lot of soul-seeking, heart-centered sort of rumination and meditation around these concepts of boundaries, of sticking together through things, of forgiveness, mistakes, of building and changing, of evolution and ascension, and bringing those concepts and ideas, things that I want for myself, and my higher self feels that is right to grow through, and reflecting those in my partner, my husband, and letting his higher self and himself find those things in his truth in his own way. And it's such a eye-opening, ever-changing, never-ending, never boring experience that really lights up our lives, and is a point of support between the two of us. It's a strong anchor that we have and that we encourage. So I hope by sharing that I can encourage that in others, for you to find that in your own ways, and to seek out your true ties and connections and bonds, and seek out to strengthen those, instead of tearing things apart, or seeking out things that you want them to improve on, or you don't like about them, or you wish was different about them, or all these kinds of things. Instead of doing this sort of peeling away and apart, do the strengthening of the good things, and see where that leads you, because that tends to actually cause those other triggery points, those irritations. They tend to dissipate and solve themselves. They tend to either dissolve, or sort of, curb out to the side, or whatever. They seem to lessen in their aggravations when you allow the good things to speak louder, and to be more of a focus, and the driving force in the communications. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there with these messages. I'm going to take a couple pictures with my phone before I put the cards away, and I'll share those on Telegram, and perhaps I'll make a blog up and share it for people who can't see the video as well. But if you're interested in seeing the pictures, the images of the card really well, or seeing the spread for yourself, I know sometimes people can grab their own messages right out of that, and I do that myself. So for anybody who's like-minded in that way, I'll share that later in the day. You can check out my Telegram, maybe on the community tab on YouTube as well. I'll put it over there. So thank you so much for these hearing the messages, for taking time this morning. I appreciate you so much, as always, and I will see you next time.